We've got the Ford F-150 Lightning. It's all electric.
Let's get at it.
Oh my God. That is vast.
Just hold on a second. I'll be right back.
Holy smokes.
Our gear went flying.
I think Zach is feeling sick, maybe too.
I'm totally fine, Andrea. You're a highly competent driver. Excellent driver, not competent.
Yeah, I'm excellent.
All right, let's get into the F-150 Lightning. It's not one side of the hood, it's one side of the floor of this thing.
All models come with dual electric motors. The standard range model has a 98 kilowatt hour battery with 370 kilometers, 240 miles of range, a combined 462 horsepower. The extended range model has a 131 kilowatt hour battery. That's a biggie, with 515 kilometers, 320 miles of range, a combined 580 horsepower. Both models have a whopping 775 pound-feet of torque.
Oh, there's so much to unbox with this thing. But right now we're going to get into what do you get with an F-150 Lightning.
The base trim comes with a 12-inch digital driver display, 12-inch touchscreen with Sync 4, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, connected built-in navigation with a 3-year trial, a 6-speaker audio system, a 360 camera, heated power front seats, cloth upholstery, manual folding side mirrors, Ford Copilot 360 2.0. In the US, not all these features are standard. Instead, you get vinyl seats replacing cloth and manual front seats. Heated front seats are standard on the XLT trim in the US. Also available is an 8-speaker or 18-speaker B&O sound system.
All right, Andrea, what are we going to put it in?
Got to put it in S for subscribe. And if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure you like and subscribe. Most importantly, hit the notification bell to find out when the videos drop, and also follow on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to see what's going on behind the scenes. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code Motormouth to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below. Andrea, what's the #1 enemy of a pickup truck?
Weight.
When this F-150 was redone several years ago, they switched from a steel body to an aluminum body to shed 750 pounds in weight.
Yeah.
That helped fuel economy, right? Then what do? They drop a 131 kilowatt hour battery in it. Really heavy. Like I'm confused about why pickup trucks are the target for EVs, because weight is the biggest enemy for a pickup truck.
Yeah, but you'd never know it with this. Yes, it has a huge battery in it, but my goodness, that torque number is so huge that you never feel a lack of power in this. This is quite something. It handles incredibly well. It's smooth. The cabin is quiet.
The turning radius is rubbish.
Yeah.
The turning radius is terrible.
It has 8.4 inches of ground clearance, not as much ground clearance as the regular F-150 gas or hybrid model. But when you go over speed bumps, there's a real bounce to this thing.
But my goodness, the rest of this thing, they did an amazing job. Packaging is fantastic. We'll talk about that in a moment. But just overall, like all that torque, it's smooth, it's quiet, it's magnificent to drive.
Noise, vibration, and harshness, Ford nailed it. You have got a typical EV here with a very quiet cabin. I mean, not so much, you know, with a pickup truck that you get that really quiet cabin. This one is incredible. I love the look of this. They did such a great job. It looks like an F-150, except you've got that great signature lighting that wraps around the headlamps in the front.
I want my electric truck to look a little funkier. I think this looks too much like the regular F-150. The one that I think looks the coolest is the Chevrolet. I think that one looks pretty slick.
I like this a lot. I have no complaints about the way it looks. Even the tail light in the back, that full strip, which is actually not standard, but is available depending on the trim that you choose. It comes standard with LED headlights and LED taillights. You get 18-inch wheels in the US. You have more of a stripped down model. And in Canada, 20-inch wheels available, 22-inch.
All right, now this thing is functional. It's all the same functionality, plus more if you get the electrified version over the regular gas model. My favorite thing, Andrea, is the frunk, okay? And we're gonna go through all of the plugs and things this has. It's crazy what it can do.
Yeah.
So in place of the gasoline engine up front, you've got a perfectly flat floor. So the hood comes up and you've got all kinds of storage. You've got hooks for maybe putting your groceries in there. Underneath the floor is where the charging cable is. There's lights underneath the front, and there's outlets if you're going to use it for trucky stuff.
Yeah, 4 outlets, so you can plug different things into it, especially if you're on site. You got to plug in tools, and there's even a drain in there.
Beers at the campsite. And then we get to the bed, and you take the same thing and then you kind of multiply it. So you've got a classic F-150 bed. I love the fact that the frunk is power operated. That's pretty cool. The tailgate is also power operated down and up. And then you have, in my opinion, the best tailgate step that has been developed. Others have come up with different kind of formulas. I think Ford nailed it with this. It's very simple and you can get in the bed no problem. And then inside there you've got more plugs, you've got more lights, and you even have a 240 volt outlet so you can charge your house in a power outlet.
This comes with only one configuration. It's the crew cab. It has a 5.5 foot bed, and depending on the trim that you choose, they do offer different payload capacities, but it's up to 2,200 pounds. And that frunk, you can hold 400 pounds of equipment in there.
And we are going to reference our pals over at the Fast Lane Truck. Shout out to Roman and Tommy who run that channel. They did a great comparison with the GMC gas model. So they tried towing 2 identical trailers at 6,000 pounds, and they only got 100 miles, 160 kilometers of range before they had to stop it. So if you're buying this to tow a trailer, you're going to be stopping a lot, and the good old GMC gas model just kept sailing down the highway. Now these were big heavy trailers, but that's why you buy a pickup truck, because you need a big heavy trailer. You know what I would get, Andrea? I would get a General Motors Duramax diesel if I was towing all the time. That's the truck I would get. Or Ford will sell you an F-250 or an F-350 diesel. If you're towing, if you're using it for work, I'm not sure this is the one you want.
Well, I would get the F-150 hybrid. I liked it a lot. It can tow up to 12,700 pounds.
All right, so shout out to Fast Lane Truck. I'll put the link. We never do this for any other YouTube
No,
channel. They do a great job.
But it was so good.
They do a great job on trucks. They're really the top channel for that sort of stuff. So we'll put a link in the description below. Watch it, give them a view, and it's very entertaining.
Moving to the inside, this is super comfortable. Ford knows how to make great seats. There's tons of storage in here, from the door pockets to the center console. You've got storage in the back underneath the seats. Overall, this feels big. You've got a great commanding seating position in here. I'm a big fan.
There's no sunroof on this model. We'll get into the packages in just a second. But to Andrea's point, like, you've got 2 glove boxes in the front, one in front of me and one below. And then same thing, plugs galore everywhere on this. Whether you want 120 volt outlets, you want 12 volt outlets, you want plugs for your phone. The back seat is absolutely enormous. But what are the trims on this one? Like, I think that the one we're driving is the Lariat, is really kind of getting spendy. And what's the XLT?
Well, they're all super spendy. We went through the XLT model in our standard features. You do have the Pro model in the US. It's more of a stripped down version. It is only a standard range model. So I recommend at least moving up to the XLT, whether you get standard range or extended range. The Lariat model comes with all of those extra features. That's the model that you get, this 15.5-inch touchscreen. Everything is done in the screen. It also has a wireless charger, heated and ventilated front seat, driver's seat memory, and you get a leather trimmed upholstery. On the top trim, that's where you have kind of a more premium leather quality seat. So you do get a lot. There is an available package on the Lariat model, which includes the moonroof and also heated rear seats, along with Ford Co-Pilot Active 2.0 with Blue Cruise.
So I don't love this screen. I think it's a bit of a showstopper when you get in it, but basic stuff, like I want to know the list of all the radio stations, whether they're AM or FM. Sat radio, they do give you a list, but if you want AM or FM list, it doesn't show up. We have the Volvo this week, Andrea, and I hit radio, and then all of the radio stations pop up. I'm like, that's how it should be. Andrea's tried looking for it. I've tried looking for it. You tell us if you're a Ford owner. I can't find it.
The standard head unit is a 12-inch integrated touchscreen, which actually looks really good. The problem with this screen is everything is done in the screen. So you want to put on your heated and ventilated seats. You've got to scroll through up and down. There is something clever that Ford has come up with, and that if you want to have everything off the screen, say you're driving at night, you just push in the volume knob, turn it to the right, and all you will have is a plain screen. It has the date and the time, and that's it.
So here's me getting in the back seat. This thing is enormous. It's got a huge amount of legroom, an enormous amount of headroom. The rear seats don't tilt at all, but you can stretch out and you could put your feet up and enjoy a long road trip. No wonder families like having these.
The Lightning is very spacious. It offers a little more length than the gas model, but they have about the same front row legroom at 43.9 inches. Second row legroom is 43.6 inches, both the same. There's plenty of storage, including a front trunk, which is 14.1 cubic feet or 400 liters of space.
You guys are savage with the questions, but let's get into it.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Andrea, before we start, we're going to put the shifter down.
Oh, yes.
And then we got to flip this.
Yeah. Mobile studio right here.
Here's your questions from Instagram.
I find it interesting that the Ford F-150 has such enormous sales, and yet from another reviewer is a vehicle to be avoided for its terrible reliability.
It's built Ford tough, Andrea.
That's marketing mumbo jumbo, Zach.
Yeah, I always say that. You know, it's quality is job one. That's another one they used.
So in the recent JD Power Dependability Study for 2023, I am not surprised to see Ford at the very bottom. It's like 4 up from the bottom, along with Land Rover. But it's been a tough couple years for Ford, and if you Google Lightning, you're going to see a whole bunch of issues come up on forums, whether it has to do with Blue Cruise, the battery is depleting, they had some issues with the wipers. Not like massive issues, but enough to drive anybody crazy if you have to take it into the shop.
Pro tip. Do not buy first generation anything in the automotive industry. The only one I would ever do and ever recommend is Toyota. If they come out with a brand new model, people ask, should I wait a year? And I'm like, probably okay with Toyota.
Yeah.
But any other brand, when there's new technology, pump the brakes on that and wait a year or two.
And the US CEO, Jim Farley, has even commented on quality issues. He says that it's a big problem, it's unacceptable, and they're working on different processes to make quality better.
You know who also says that? The CEO of Land Rover Jaguar. Unacceptable quality issues. We have to get better. They're at the bottom too.
Too bad the batteries have been catching on fire. I mean, you guys are really killing it with the questions today. Full steam ahead. First off, it isn't batteries. It was one battery.
Oh,
and
but
it was during
that's how it all starts, Andrea.
It was during pre-inspection, and the battery did catch fire. So right now, Ford has halted production of the F-150 Lightning, that it isn't affecting any vehicles that are on the road right now. So if you own one, they're saying it's
we'll
okay.
We'll see. Okay, listen. This is what happened to General Motors with the Chevrolet Bolt. They had 18 fires, and these were owners that had them. They had to replace all of the batteries and all of the bolts that have ever been sold, billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars.
So much money.
So doing a stop sale on the F-150 Lightning is probably a good idea for Ford. Get ahead of this before the problem spreads. Tesla has had, there's an actual website, you can look it up, that actually counts all the fires with Tesla cars around the world.
I know.
And they get a pass. I don't understand how they get a pass, but GM has to spend like $8 billion changing all the batteries.
And Hyundai and Kia never get a pass either with their issues.
I know. It's just, you guys are mean.
I like the Lightning, but as an electric truck, it's not good for truck-like things. such as towing. Yes. And for an electric vehicle, it is big for city driving and big to park in the garage where I'd want to charge. The front trunk is amazing. Well, you're so bang on about all of this stuff. You're right. We talked about it not being good for towing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a full-size pickup truck. It's just pretty much like an F-150 gas or any other Ram or whatever. It's big. So if you can't drive a full-size truck, this ain't for you.
Yeah.
But you know what? The whole truck business is leading perfectly into our hot topic. Is like, what exactly is this for and who's it for?
Yeah.
And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
Who is this truck for? Would this make a good family hauler? Can you actually run your house with it?
I'm a bit perplexed as who's going to buy this. For me, I really truly believe this is somebody that already drives as a regular vehicle for daily use, as kind of a family vehicle, are going to want this. But the guys that are really the jobbers on job sites, I think they're still going to want maybe a 250, a 350, a diesel or a gas. I don't think for towing and loading, this is for them.
Well, I think loading is okay. I mean, if you want to stack things in the bed, no problem, but it's a brand new vehicle. I don't know if you would rather have something that's used. It's so expensive. I mean, the price of this is just shocking. It's not for the masses. Here's another EV that is unaffordable to most people. But I think as a family vehicle, it would be great, or somebody who is a contractor who's going from site to site. You know, it's just so capable. It's quite something.
I think it's people that just like pickup trucks.
Yeah.
It's enormous inside. A family could use this. They might tow a boat to the cabin in the summer once in a while, or put some snowmobiles in the back, something like that. But for real jobbers, I'm not sure this is the truck.
And in Canada, this comes with a 9.6 kilowatt Pro Power onboard generator. In the US, it comes standard with a 2.4 kilowatt, but an available 9.6. And yes, if your power goes out in your home, Ford says that this generator can power your home for up to 3 days.
Let's get into the vital stats of this F-150 Lightning.
Let's start with pricing. We'll do Canada first, and then we'll move on to the US. The base standard range model starts at $79,000 Canadian, and the top platinum extended range model is $121,000. In the US, that stripped down pro standard range model starts at just under $56,000. And the top platinum extended range model is just under $97,000.
The standard range models come with an 11.3 kilowatt onboard charger. An extended range get 19.2 kilowatt charger. With a level 2 charger, the F-150 Lightning can go from 15 to 100% in 10 hours. With a DC fast charger, 15 to 80% in 44 minutes. We charged the Lightning with a 50 kilowatt DC fast charger for just over 1 hour. We went from 60% to 90%, and it cost us $21 Canadian. Standard range models can tow 5,000 pounds, extended range 7,700 pounds. With the max tow package, the standard range can tow 7,700 pounds. The warranty is 3 years, 60,000 kilometers, or 36,000 miles. So you want a pickup truck and you want it fully electric. We haven't included the Cybertruck because the official full production version hasn't been shown yet, so let's get into it.
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the electric Chevrolet Silverado with up to 754 horsepower and 644 kilometers, 400 miles of EV range. Pricing has not been announced yet. This model should be available sometime in 2024.
The Rivian R1T, the dual motor model, makes 600 horsepower, and the optional quad motor with 835 horsepower. It has up to 528 kilometers or 328 miles of range, and a starting price just over $100,000.
The GMC Hummer EV with up to 1,000 horsepower and 560 plus kilometers, 350 plus miles of range. Pricing is not listed on the GMC website.
And the one to watch is the Ram 1500 REV or REV. It should hit dealerships sometime in 2024 as a 2025 model.
So there are 4 electric pickup trucks for you to consider.
This segment brought to you by Ford. It's the lightning round. 2 things we like, 2 things we like to see improved.
Oh, I love all this power.
I love the packaging.
What I'd like to see is a moonroof as an a la carte item so I can buy it on a variety of trims.
I want this to be able to do all the trucky stuff you pay for.
Good luck with that, Zach. This F-150 Lightning does a lot well, but it is much too expensive.
All right, who's going to buy this? Let us know. Type below. Who do you think is going to take this F-150? This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code Motormouth to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.